Hi, this is Gary with MACMOST.com. Let me show you how you can set up direct links into system settings on your Mac. So while you're working on your Mac, sometimes you need to go into system settings to examine or change a setting. But it can often take several steps to get to where you want. For instance, I go to the Apple menu here and go to System Settings. And then I can choose one of the sections here on the left. I can go right to a section like Desktop and Dock, and it's not that hard. But sometimes you need to go down a few steps, like in General, and then from General down to AirDrop and Handoff. Other times it's even more than that. For instance, to get to the text replacements, you need to scroll down to Keyboard, select Keyboard, then look for the Text Replacements button, click that, and then it brings up the list of text replacements. It can be a real pain to get to a section like this quickly if you want to make a change. Fortunately, there is a way to create a shortcut to it, and then have that in the menu bar, in the dock, or even a keyboard shortcut. By the way, if you find these videos valuable, consider joining the more than 2,000 others that support MACMOST at Patreon. You get exclusive content, course discounts, and more. You can read about it at macmost.com/Patreon. To do that, you want to use the Shortcuts app on your Mac. We're going to create a very simple shortcut. In fact, it'll only have one action in it. I'm going to click the plus button here at the top of the Shortcuts app, create a new shortcut, and I'm going to search here for the action. Now, there is a section here for actions having to do with system settings, but these have to do with setting or toggling a specific system setting, not getting into the System Settings app. You can, of course, use the Open App action here and then have it open System Settings, but it doesn't take you down any deeper. Instead, we're going to go to an unlikely action, Open URLs. Now, this you would normally use to open up a web page, but in this case, we're going to use something special to actually have it trigger going into system settings. So I'm going to add this in here, and it just has this type of URL. So you can type a web page here to open that web page. So instead, we're going to use something called URL schemes to, instead of triggering Safari, trigger an app. Matter of fact, you use URL schemes when you're browsing the web. HTTP : is a kind of URL or URI scheme. Instead of HTTP, we're going to use this one right here. x-apple.system preferences, and then a colon, just like the colon after HTTP. This will tell your system not to open up the browser, but instead to open up system settings, which used to be called system preferences. And now we need to tell it where to go. If we just were to use this, it actually works to open up system settings by itself. I'll run this, and you can see it does open up system settings, but it doesn't take us to any place in particular. Matter of fact, it's kind of random as to where it takes you. We want to go to a specific section. As an example, let's choose the Apple Intelligence and Siri section right here. It'd be great to go right to that. So we're going to put something after the colon here. What we're going to put is the address for that section, which is com.apple.siri, just like that. Now when we run it, it will open up system settings and take us right to this section. Let's try another one. Let's have it go right to wallpaper, for instance. Now, as you might guess, the way to get there is com.apple.wallpaper. And when I run this, it does open up to the wallpaper page. But not all sections are that obvious. I've compiled a list of them here and tested them. And you can see some of them are pretty obvious, like here is to network settings. But some of them not so much, like here's to the Apple account settings. You can see it's a little longer there. Some of them hold remnants of the past names of the sections or the past way things were configured. So there's a lot of different ones to look at. This table hopefully will get you to where you want to go. And also you can get deeper into some. For instance, let's say you wanted to get to the accessibility zoom section. If I go into system settings here, you can see how I have to go into accessibility, and then I find zoom right here. Now, to get to that using a URL, I would use com.apple.accessibility and then !zoom. So let's copy that. And then I'm going to change this to go there. And now when I launch this, it will take us to that section. Now let's look at getting to text replacement, which requires clicking a button usually. If we look at the list here, we'll find text replacements near the bottom. It's right here. And you can see it uses one of those question marks there and then uses text replacements, all as one word, no space there between them. So now if I were to change this like that and then run it, it will not only open up system settings and go to keyboard, but it will act like you clicked that button. So you're now right in text replacements. So that's great, except that you have to open shortcuts and then run the shortcut to do it. However, you can make it much easier than that. First, let's assign a name and an icon to this. So I'll just call this text replacements because that's what it does. It takes you there. And then I'm going to click on the icon here. I'm going to choose a regular icon instead of the Safari one there that it gave us because we were using open URLs. I'm going to search for something that looks like settings, so a gear like that. And let's give it a color like purple like that. So now I've got a good icon and name. Now I'm going to go to the details here. And under details, one thing I can do is pin in menu bar. This adds it to this menu here. And there's text replacements. So I can just select that in the menu bar at any time in any app, and it takes me there. I could also go to File and then Add it to Dock. And all this will do is add it to the dock here, and you can see it right there. And I click on that, and it will run and take me to text replacements. But I could also control click this in the dock and go to Options and then Show in Finder. And now it takes me to my Applications folder, not the System Applications folder, but the one in my User folder. So I can take this little app here and move it anywhere I want. I can put it in some other folder or put it on the desktop. Any place I want, I can run this app and it will trigger the shortcut and take me into system settings. Now I can set a keyboard shortcut for this as well. I'm going to click Add Keyboard Shortcut. It's going to select Use as Quick Action and Services menu. And then I'm going to assign a keyboard shortcut. So let's use Control Option Command R. R is easy to remember because replacements. And I'm now going to be able to use that keyboard shortcut. I'll even quit the Shortcuts app here. I'll be working in something else like, let's say, Notes here. And I decide, I want to set a text replacement. Let's use Control, Option, Command, and R. And it will run that shortcut and take me right to where I want in system settings. Now, I know I'm going to get people asking about the iPhone and whether or not you can do this there. And you can. You can use shortcuts. You can use the Open URLs action, but you have to use different links in iOS and iPadOS. So for instance, here is an example, and it's taking you to the same place, text replacements. But here it's actually a completely different path, and it's called User Dictionary. But the result is it'll get you to the same place. If I run this, it will open up settings and go to that section. I'll keep my page focused on macOS, but at the bottom, I'll link to another page that shows you some of the URLs for iOS. So you can create single action shortcuts to do this, but you can also put them in longer shortcuts that do various other things as well. And you can use these same URL schemes in shell scripts, AppleScript, and JavaScript for automation if you like. Hope you found this useful. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, click the thumbs up button below to let me know. I publish new tutorials each weekday. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out.